How much time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you. What?
Do you know these tits, Errol?
I know a lot of tits, Governor, but I don't know any quite as stupid as these two.
Angela Rayner will return to Cabinet, Keir Starmer has said. The Prime Minister claims misogyny played a part in the level of criticism both she and Chancellor Rachel Reeves have received in recent months, adding that he missed his former deputy. Ms Rayner resigned as Deputy Prime Minister, Housing Secretary and Deputy Labour leader in September after an independent ethics probe found she had breached the ministerial code over her underpayment of stamp duty on a seaside flat. When questioned in an interview with The Observer recently if the Ashton MP will be back in Cabinet, the Prime Minister said yes, she's hugely talented.
Did you see that? Did you?
Good evening, people. Another What You Whistle Wednesday is upon us. It's come round pretty quick. How are we all doing this evening? And how are we brewing? Welcome to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host, Lefty. You're all very welcome here this evening. Divinia was first in the chat. We've also got Emma, Idiosyncrasy, Hype Them. It's like that one. Graham, great to see you. Top quality audience building up as usual. As always, with a Wednesday, usually often comes a PMQs as well, though this is the final one before recess. So we'll have Keith's catchphrases as well. Make sure you hit thumbs up as you join us on stream, people. We'll just warm up for a little bit here, catch up, and then get on with proceedings. Get yourselves comfortable or whatnot. Perhaps you like to listen while you're on the treadmill, I don't know. Doc Davies, awesome to see you as well. Solidari-Tea, everybody. Yeah, I'm still not sure if I've recovered from yesterday's marathon watch of the Liz Truss show. That certainly was testing. Almost gave myself an aneurysm just watching a debut show. Libyology. Solidari-Tea, welcome to the stream. We'll catch up with a few other things perhaps that have been going on this week. We'll see how we're doing for time. Post PMQs. Was that a near spoiler alert in the chat, Graham, about Prime Minister obviously having watched it? Just, well, the reaction. There's actually going to be a video on the channel out about it. You know. I didn't pay attention to how many views it had had when I went to get it yesterday, so I don't know how many it might be up to now, no idea. I'm not going back, I'm not giving it. Do you think I'm giving the pleasure of a registered stat that says that I have returned to the channel and rewatched content? Hell no. I don't want that on my statistics. But if anybody's heard, then do let me know. And be patient and wait until the video on the channel comes out. Under absolutely no circumstances should you go and watch it yourself. The 45-minute long episode 1 of the Liz Truss show. I know 3. Was it 3? Yeah, it was 3, I think. Expert guests. Oh, the absolute pinnacle of academia. You know, the guy who does a podcast and blogs Bitcoin. You're just randomly walking down the street somewhere. This guy stood next to a car that's got its boot open. Alright, mate, you mind helping me out? What's that, pal? You alright? You want to buy some Bitcoin, mate? Bit of that cryptocurrency, mate. So he must know everything about economics and politics and society. Must be quite the philosopher. Yeah, you don't have to go and watch it. I've suffered, so you don't have to. That video will be out soon. Hit the notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out. Other buttons that you might want to hit. Well, he says... Oh, don't do this to me now. Quick, before it crashes. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Good, you can still hear me. Right, it's just that at my end, I'm not actually the monitor basically on the broadcast software is acting up. Might have to leave you buffering for a few seconds, if you'll forgive me. But otherwise, we can't play any clips, so it's more or less a necessity. I don't want to get too technical and bog you down with nerdy tech details. I think we're back now. Yep. I did say there would be some buffering, of course, yes, just as we make a minor adjustment here. But the IT team really have got their shit together at the moment, people. Quicker than a Formula 1 McLaren pit stop team. And just to be clear, if anybody is watching from the RSPCA or other relative charities, this is not due to them imbibing any narcotics whatsoever. It's through grit and hard work and expert primate training. Buffering is better than Liz Truss. It is. I said yesterday, and we'll probably mention in the upcoming video, which I'll be narrating, of course. It said that it's the worst thing on YouTube. And I'm trying to think of all the things I've seen on YouTube, good or bad. And it's got to be right, well, it's not right up there, is it? It's right down there, at the very bottom. But let's not get distracted. Let's not get carried away on a tangent. You can go back and watch yesterday's live stream later, or hang about for the upcoming video. Graham, looks like your lips are tightly sealed there. Also, as not to jinx anything. I see. Yes, Doc, 5,500 subscribers now. 5,509 if you want to get technical. Still really very pleased to have made that. Surpassed that mark, I should say. So, yes, please do share content. Hopefully we can reach new socialists all across the world. And the next target will be 6k. But speaking of targets, the membership goal is currently on 100 out of 250. That's another target. And we owe it, indeed, to these marvellous members for getting us to the century. Thanks very much, everybody. Other ways you can support the channel are with super chats, which are open if you're watching live. Super thanks if you're watching back later on, and there's a Buy Me a Coffee page. If you're unable to contribute via YouTube, check out the description, or indeed the link in the description of this stream or any other content on the channel. I often say description instead of link. I'm getting there. More practice, more live streams required. Divinia with a very generous 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much indeed for that. Solidari-Tea, sister. Let's please give a big up to Divinia in the chat. Yeah, paying it forward. Having received gifted memberships now, generously contributing 10. Hope you all enjoy your perks, please, people. Let's show some appreciation. Magnifico. Solidarity. It takes us to 110. And it is my esteemed pleasure to update the membership goal total. Trophies and stars. Excellent. Like it. Take a bow, comrade. and a long-time viewer as well. Been great to have you on live streams. Thanks a lot for all of your contributions with comments on content as well. What a great bunch of people. Maybe Liz Truss will venture out into live streams, and unless that one was streamed live, make a lot of sense. Well, some things would. But even, and I won't describe the equipment that I do the Brews at 10 on. Suffice to say, it's not exactly razzle-dazzle, but it would probably surpass whatever Liz Truss's setup is. I trust you. Perhaps a deceased. There was a what you'd call a garage sale, or you know, a fire sale at a relative's house, and they did it in the abandoned garage or something like that. I don't know. Let's not dwell on that. We've got other politicians to take the piss out of. Notably Keith and Co. Just one final bit of self-promotion / shilling. It's not a shill, it's genuine quality, is what it is. But, yeah, I was also, just very quickly, going to say give us a share on your social media. Give us a follow whilst you're there at My Left Eye UK as well. I think that's everything taken care of. Oh, and you can also join that awesome list of people you just saw for 99 pence. That's the other one. It's just a fraction of the price of a tasty hot beverage. Stall closed. Next matter. The next matter is who's stolen my gavel? We'll move on to PMQs. Actually, for lack of a comedy clip on this particular episode of Brews at 10, apologies. Didn't have a lot of time to set up and troll through the archives for some old but gold. There wasn't really anything released by people I subscribe to. Not that I had lots of time to try and find one. So strap yourselves in, people. We'll get straight over to the House of Commons with Lindsay Hoyle and Keith's catchphrases.
Oh no!
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole. Plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, people. Sorry, just a couple of issues here. I was just going to say very quickly that the chat is a bit big on the screen. It should be catchphrases, but I don't want to chop off any of your posts in chat. I will quickly go through the rules for anyone who's not familiar, and the latest standings, of course, in the Keith's Catchphrases League, because that's what this is all about. Which contender is going to win the league? Coming up in just one moment, people. Okay, go team, go. And there we are. All is well. Right, how does this all work? We pick two phrases, they go against one another, we keep a score. The phrases, or words, have to be spoken by Keir Starmer. It's two contenders. And like I said, a winner stays on format, unless all other contenders have been played by the winner. But also if there's a draw, which happened last week, so two new contenders, actually. One of whom is debuting, that is, has not played in the league yet. Rule number 3, variations on the words are allowed, such as past tenses, pluralisation, that kind of thing. Doesn't have to be the exact word. As far as scoring concerns, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, no point for a loss. That's in the league. It's just 1 point per mention. We keep count, like I said. And the season of Keith's catchphrases will last until summer break next year, or when Keith resigns. Very quick look at the current standings. So the current league leader, Postman Twat, was one of the contenders in the 2-all draw last week. Won't be contending, but had a very good run at it in the 4 games. Sorry, that should say won 3, not 2, out of the 4 that they've played. But 22 mentions and 7 points is pretty significant. However, going to give Budgets another chance this week, who's currently in second, just 1 point behind, with 6 fewer mentions, having played 3, won 2 and lost 1. The other contender is in the bottom half of the table, so it's going to be a debut for Plan, currently sort of 7th, although there's not much activity in the bottom half of the table. As you can see, apart from Inheritance, who's played 1 and lost 1 and hasn't had a single mention. Come on, losers, keep up, what's going on? You might have noticed as well, at the bottom, a mystery box, the mystery contender, which has yet to be decided. So the league will now have 10 contenders, and I'm thinking I might do a poll, actually. I think the 10th, or whichever contender, should be decided by you good people, by the audience, so I'm going to draft together a few suggestions, and then we'll pull the shit out of it at some point, perhaps during the recess. And then we'll see what happens. Sound good? Getting on with the job. Yeah, that's it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Feel free to throw your suggestions in chat for now. In fact, I'll actually try and keep notes. Graham, I was considering Mr. Speaker, actually, at one point. As well, yeah. Keep them coming in the chat, please, chat. Maybe I resign. Well, who wouldn't like to hear that? I think we'd all raise a smile. But today, Mr. Speaker, sausages, sausages, I resign. Everybody clear on the rules? Any questions? Because we just have a moment before we get started. I think we're all pretty savvy most people watching live at the moment probably already familiar with Keith's catchphrases anyway. Idiosyncrasy's got the popcorn out, good to go. Where's the toilet? Cool. Has the Prime Minister ever had to excuse themselves because nature called? Well, it's half an hour or so. So you never know, but we'll just get started. As you can see there, budget and plan. Scoreboard wipe clean. Let's do this. One quick reminder. This is my first time watching this. No spoilers in chat, please. If the sort of part of the session comes up and you think, oh yeah, I remember the response, and they'll say one of the phrases or whatever, or just please, none of that. Thank you very much. Because it confuses me as well that I might have missed one. So we all good to go? Awesome. Right.
Circumstances.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions. Sarah Alday.
Question number 1, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the whole House will join me in sending our deepest sympathy and condolences to the family and loved ones of Lance Corporal George Hooley of the Parachute Regiment, who died yesterday in Ukraine. Lance Corporal Hooley was injured in a tragic accident away from the front lines while observing Ukrainian forces testing a new defensive capability. His life was full of courage and determination. He served our country with honour and distinction around the world.
Sounds like he was serving Ukraine at the time. Don't want to, obviously, stain the memory of this serviceman who's been killed in what appears to be an accident during a weapons test. That's the official story, anyway. We'll just say it was an accident during a weapons test. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But that didn't happen here in the UK, did it? It happened in Ukraine with our money, with public money. Part of the 100 billion that they're going to get. Just wanted to squeeze that one in there.
In the cause of freedom and democracy, including as part of the small number of British personnel in Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, I place his name on record today to express our gratitude and respect, and to affirm that his service will never be forgotten.
Part of my point there as well was that it's obviously needless, of course. The British service people should die for Ukraine. Or any other country. That's for sure.
Mr. Speaker, on Monday I hosted President Zelensky, President Macron and Chancellor Merz in Downing Street. We must redouble our efforts. The UK, Europe and our allies will stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine, stand up to Putin's aggression and work to deliver a just and lasting peace.
Oh, nearly went... Ah, shit. Yeah, the syndrome still persists, I'm afraid, people. Nearly went for the button there with Deliver, who isn't contending this week, of course. Oh, I'm going to have to ring up the psychiatrist again tomorrow. Bloody hell.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Sir Alday.
Mr. Speaker, a couple in my constituency fled persecution from the Egyptian authorities, who accused them of being traitors and terrorists due to their work as professional journalists. They gained refugee status here in 2021 and are now 3 months away from being eligible for indefinite leave to remain. The UK is their home, but their stability and family life are being threatened by changes in government policy. I'm concerned that the government has lost sight of the real-life impact that these changes will have on working families living here legally, and with details of transitional arrangements still under consultation, can the Prime Minister provide clarity regarding the transitional support available to families already on the pathway to indefinite leave to remain? Thank you.
Well, can I say this country will always be compassionate in relation to refugees and comply with our full obligations under the various conventions.
Really? And you got, what, 20-year wait? A 20-year wait? That's what you're doing, and obviously got your tongue right up Nigel Farage's arse at the moment, trying to outflank him to the right to win back votes, but it's not working. It won't work. The more you persist, the more draconian you get with this kind of compassionate 20-year wait for asylum.
Bag of shite.
It is important that we address some of the challenges we face at the moment, but we mustn't lose sight that we've always been a compassionate country that welcomes refugees to our shores.
Rachel Maskell.
Mr. Speaker, while the last government was indifferent to child poverty, this government's driving mission must be to eradicate child poverty, and the strategy...
Sorry, it was a bit strong, the descriptive thing just there. Apologies, people, for that enduring image, but something I feel quite strongly about. Sorry for the... Sorry to drum up that image.
On that path. Over the first 1,001 critical days in pregnancy and early years, poverty contributes to malnourished babies, developmental delay, hypothermia and poor life outcomes. This is unacceptable. So will the Prime Minister lift pregnant women and babies out of poverty in York and across the country in this Parliament and ensure that we relieve poverty over the first 1,001 critical days?
Can I thank her for raising this? And I'm proud that babies born today will have a better start in life thanks to our decisions.
A bit, what, literally born today? Let me do the mathematics. Yeah, there's a good chance that there won't be any clean water left by the time they leave school. There's a very good chance that we might see complete societal collapse again before they leave school. Further benefits for private education, further burdens for students with fees. And even if they survive and last to go into further education, that is, they'll be burdened with debt when they come out of the back end of it. And sorry, but a robot has taken your job, but hasn't been installed to make your life more comfortable. You have to still work anyway, because capitalism.
Mr. Speaker, I am particularly concerned by maternity services. And that's why we've commissioned a review so every mother is heard, gets proper care at what should be a special time, and currently too many are failed. We're funding healthy babies services in 75 of the most deprived areas, and we've taken action to save parents up to £500 a year on infant formula. It is a moral mission of this government to lift children out of poverty, and we intend to do so. The Leader of the Opposition thinks that maternity pay is excessive and would go back to the failment that puts hundreds of thousands of children into poverty.
Kevin Maiden, not the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I echo the sentiments of the Prime Minister? The thoughts of the whole House will rightly be with the family of Lance Corporal Hooley, who tragically died supporting Ukraine in her fight for freedom. Can the Right Honourable Gentleman tell the House why are his own MPs describing him as a caretaker?
Sorry, just the serious, and now the shit jokes. It's panto season, it's open. Just how quickly the mood changes. I've pointed that out before. 1 minute it's sombre, and the next minute it's jokes that land like a fucking DC-10.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, my own MPs are very proud we've just passed a budget which protected our public services and our NHS. No austerity which brought our NHS to the ground. We've created the conditions for...
Thanks for reminding me, Keith. NHS was one of the potential contenders I was thinking of to fill the mystery box. Yeah, we had a budget. Just one sec. I can all do one thing at a time. Just bear with. Yeah. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about NHS for a contender? I'd like to know your thoughts about that one, people. Budget.
Mr. Speaker, my own MPs are very proud we've just passed a budget which protected our public services and our NHS. No austerity which brought our NHS to the ground. We've created the conditions for economic stability with the headroom we need. And Mr. Speaker, we're concentrating on the single most important issue for families up and down the country, which is the cost of living, by taking £150 off their energy bills. That's in addition to the 150 for the 6 million of the poorest household. We're concentrating on what matters to the country. She's trying to save her job.
Mr. Speaker, let me answer the question
She's
for the
trying
Prime
to save
Minister.
her job.
He's being called a caretaker because everyone can see that he's lost control of his party. And this lot...
I can't remember what it was. Or it was a snippet of maybe Radio 4 Today programme, I think. But discussion about whether Starmer will survive to the local elections in May, in just about 5 months' time. That is serious, just obviously on a major platform now. It's that bad. And he's taking snipes. I'm not defending Kemi Badenoch. She's obviously a caretaker leader of the Tories. They'll take a bashing as well in the locals and general election alike. They both of their careers are hanging by a thread at the moment. It's got to be said.
Do you know these tits, Errol?
I know a lot of tits, Governor, but I don't know any quite as stupid as these two.
They're all so busy trying to replace him...
Order. Sorry? Can I just say the same people are making the same noises they made last week. I did say last week it wasn't the right time. I wouldn't do it this week. So please, let's not carry on with the way we left it last week. Kemi Badenoch.
Mr. Speaker, they can make as much noise as they like.
Well, bugger me. He didn't actually sneak in a shitty joke. Is he okay? Is Lindsay Hall feeling all right? He's not done his usual, whatever the... God, you can't really call it comedy or a brand of humour, can you?
We all know that this lot are so busy trying to replace him that they've taken their eyes off
in the chat.
ball. Let's start, Mr. Speaker. Wait for it.
Let's start where we'll be in 5 questions' time.
Wait for it.
Because she only ever says the same thing over and over.
The Energy Secretary, who wants to recycle himself as leader. He said he'd cut families' energy bills by £300. Can the Prime Minister tell the House how much have energy bills fallen by since the election?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased to say we're taking 150...
Not defending Kemi Badenoch again, but yeah, those figures are cooked up. The claim that they're going to be slashing people's energy bills. The gaslighting budget that we had in one breath. They're telling you that people are going to be better off. The next minute, it's hard choices. And they're going to be cuts, and they're referring to the same people as well. Obviously, including bill payers.
Pounds off energy bills. I can also tell her that that's on top of the £150 we've taken off last year. For
good point there in the chat as well, Davinia. The price cap has gone up, so that increases the amount that fossil fuel companies are allowed to rip off British households by. Do you know that we have the leakiest homes in Europe, by the way, people? The British, at the moment, that is, don't even want to entertain the idea of nationalised insulation or government-funded insulation projects that would save people hundreds of pounds a year on their energy bills, nor do they really want to do green energy revival. This GB Energy is a load of crap. It's only got a few staff. It's basically for show. It's a front, I guess, if you want to put it that way. A facier. It's a facier for nothing. So that would be up to 7 times cheaper, actually, where energy bills are concerned, and they don't want to go there. They don't want to go there because that would hurt the fossil fuel companies. Could go on at length about the dirty money and corruption involved. But here we are.
3 million poorest families, now for 6 million poorest families. Mr. Speaker, she talks about leaving. The problem for us, last week, 3
Well, Mr. May, I've told this side, I'll now tell this side. We don't need the pantomime auditions anymore, please.
Mr. Speaker, last week I pointed out that 3 of her ex-MPs went to reform. That included the former Deputy Chairman, Jonathan Gullis. He liked to think of himself as a straight talker. He said they're finished and they've lost the trust of the British people. In total, Mr. Speaker, 21...
Yeah, Gullis is back. That shouldn't be stuck there, just one moment. Yeah, he's gone to, I say he's back, he's joined Reform. Can you all still hear me? Test, test. 1, 2. I can't get this clip off. Screen, 1 second. Okay, you can still hear me. There will be very brief moments of bufferage here. We're back. Just got to find where we're up to.
Let's start, Mr. Speaker.
There we go.
Auditions anymore, please.
I was talking about Jonathan Gullis, of course. Found himself unemployed, actually. One of the so-called benefit scroungers that used to pour scorn on, because he couldn't get rehired as a teacher, which is unbelievably, I think, what he used to do before he went into politics. Given how he behaved during his time as an MP, he couldn't find anyone willing to take him back on, so here he is, going cap in hand to the King Reform Party. But I suppose they're welcome to him, really.
Mr. Speaker, last week I pointed out that 3 of her ex-MPs went to reform. That included the former Deputy Chairman, Jonathan Gullis. He liked to think of himself as a straight talker. He said
Gullis,
they're finished and they've lost the
whatever
trust
it
of the
is.
British people. In
He's
total,
an idiot.
Mr. Speaker, 21 ex-Tory MPs have now left for reform. The real question, Mr. Speaker, is... The real question is, who's next? We can all see the Shadow Justice Secretary twitching after his come and get me plea from the member of Clacton. Mr. Speaker, we need...
At this rate, it's probably going to be Shabana Mahmood.
No lessons from them.
Mr. Speaker, I asked him about energy bills. He could power the national grid on all of that hot air. He promised to cut energy bills by £300. Energy bills have risen by £187. But let's look at someone else who's making a mess. Let's look at the Education Secretary. Ah, there she is. Labour pledged to recruit 6,500 more teachers. So can the Prime Minister tell the House how many extra teachers are there since she became Education Secretary?
More than when they left office. proud to say so. We're an upward trajectory. Oh, Mr. Speaker.
Well.
They left
Practically leaping out of the seat.
on its knees. They left our schools in a mess. They left our economy absolutely broken. They should be utterly ashamed of their record in service.
Wrong. Mr. Speaker, there are now 400 fewer teachers since she came into office. She's shaking her head. It's on the DFE website. Does she not check it once in a while? I can understand that the Right Honourable Lady is angry. We're all angry at the mess she's making. The Prime Minister doesn't know what's going on in energy. He doesn't know what's going on in education. Does he know anything about what's going on in the Home Office? Last year, the Prime Minister promised to recruit 13,000 more police officers. How's that going?
Prime Minister.
3,000 more by the end of March, and we're rising on police numbers. Mr. Speaker, they left the Home Office. The criminal justice system is utterly broken. Sir Brian Leveson has said on that. They lost control of our borders. They lost control of every single department. And she's obviously spent the morning rehearsing for the Liz Truss show. She's probably going to be the guest star next week.
There it is. There it is.
Both of them talking about how Liz Truss was 100% right. But what Liz Truss said was the Conservatives need to take... No, they don't want to hear it. The Conservatives need to take responsibility.
You're not going to take advice from Liz Truss, surely, Keith?
The Conservatives need to take responsibility for their 14 years of failure. That was Liz Truss, their former leader. So
she also said that the BBC was a communist institution, and so was the... Just check my notes here. Yes, the Bank of England are apparently communist.
She'll heed that. Get up and say sorry.
Wrong again. I asked him how many police officers. There are now 1,300 fewer officers than at the election. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if the Home Secretary wants his job, but I do read that she's having conversations with Tony Blair because he's already given up on the Prime Minister. Why don't we talk about the Health Secretary? Let's see how he's doing. We do know he definitely wants the job. He said he'd end the doctor strikes. So can the Prime Minister tell the House how many appointments have been lost to strike action since last July?
Mr. Speaker, they left the NHS an absolute mess, with the highest waiting lists on record and the lowest confidence in the NHS ever. The Health Secretary said he would do 2 million extra appointments. He hasn't done 2 or 3 or 4. He's done 5 million extra appointments. That is because we invest.
Has he bollocks?
Pull the other one.
Invested in the NHS. What did they do? Having broken it, they voted against that investment. They should hang their heads in shame.
Mr. Speaker,
that is another one he says a lot. Hang their heads in shame. They should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of their record, Mr. Speaker. Perhaps another contender for the mystery contender box. Keep your suggestions coming in the chat, please, people. This is open to anybody watching back later on, of course. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions regarding the matter of new contender.
I asked him how many appointments have been lost to strike action. He doesn't know. Let me tell him. We have lost 93,000.
That's a deliberate pause there. Just making a very quick adjustment. It's buffering on screen. This will improve. 1 second.
Mr. Speaker, the whole House
Have been lost to strike action. He doesn't know. Let me tell him. We have lost 93,000 appointments to strikes since the Health Secretary gave doctors a...
Is that better? Is that better? Viewers, let me know.
Massive pay rise. It's the truth. I know they wouldn't know the truth if it punched them in the face, but I'm telling them the truth. It is no wonder that we read this morning that the former Deputy Prime Minister has said about the Health Secretary she'd rather stick pins in her eyes than be on his golden ticket. And Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister congratulates himself on 5 million extra appointments. In our last year of office, we delivered 6.5 million extra appointments. Under Labour, Mr. Speaker,
It's like we're better at cooking the books than you are. Oh, we were.
everything is getting worse. Jobs, bills, police numbers, teacher numbers, everything is getting worse. The Cabinet should be doing their own jobs.
What are they doing? Exactly
They're trying to compete for the caretaker's job. The only person who doesn't want the Prime Minister's job is the Chancellor. She's just trying to cling on to her own. Isn't it time, Mr. Speaker, that the Prime Minister admits that Labour isn't working?
Mr. Speaker, she's living proof you can say whatever you like when nobody is listening to anything you have to say. There's absolutely no substance. She's no credibility on the economy. She still believes that Liz Truss was 100% right. She wants to go back to austerity with £47 billion of cuts. She thinks the minimum wage should be frozen too high. She's got no credibility on foreign policy. She complains about trade deals she tried to get and we got. She says that we should stay at home and not attend NATO or the G7. On issue after issue, she's clinging on to reform. That's not leadership, it's weakness. No wonder so many are leaving her party. They know there's absolutely no reason to stay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thousands of families are moving into new estates only to discover that basic infrastructure, roads, drains and sewers remain in limbo, unadopted by public authorities. In mid-Cheshire alone, 4,700 households, more than 12% of all properties in the constituency, face this uncertainty with no guarantee over maintenance, safety and future costs, often years after developers have walked away. Can the Prime Minister say what steps he will take to make adoption timely and enforceable so homeowners are not left carrying the burden of unfinished infrastructure?
Well, I thank him for raising this serious issue for his constituents and over 1.7 million homeowners across the country who are left at the mercy of unfair costs and poor management. I can confirm we're consulting on reforming the system to reduce private management of these estates and to protect more homeowners. Well, I thank him for raising this serious issue for his constituents and over 1.7 million homeowners across the country who are left at the mercy of unfair costs and poor management. I can confirm we're consulting on reforming the system to reduce private management of these estates and to protect more homeowners from unfair charges. That's a vital part of our leasehold reforms to protect homeowners from high cost and make sure everyone has the amenities that they need.
Sir Ed David, leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I join?
Well, you better take the roof off so we can hang glide into the canoe, down the Whitewater Rapids, off of the canoe, onto a trampoline, double somersault, through a ring of fire, lands perfectly, pulls out 7 balls and begins to juggle them as people throw him other random objects, including a chainsaw. Sir Ed Davey.
Join the Prime Minister in offering our condolences to the family and friends of Lance Corporal George Hooley, who died on duty in Ukraine. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. Can I congratulate Glastonbury's Lando Norris on becoming the 11th British driver to win the Formula One World Championship, and also everyone at McLaren's in Woking who powered him to the title. Mr. Speaker, President Trump's new national security strategy is a deeply alarming document. Quite apart from the irony of President Trump accusing others of
trampling on basic principles of democracy. It repeats far-right tropes of civilizational erasure and threatens that the US government will cultivate resistance in Europe. No wonder Vladimir Putin has welcomed that strategy. So will the Prime Minister pick up the phone and make it clear to President Trump that any attempts to interfere with our democracy are totally unacceptable?
Well, it's in a manner, I don't know, like deputy head teacher's end of year speech, politely saying to Keith, "Oh, you're Trump's little bitch, aren't you? Why don't you ring him up and give him what for?" Because he certainly has a reputation for being a good listener. Donald Trump, he certainly has a good reputation for modesty, doesn't he? No. In fact, anybody who goes to see him is briefed on how to specifically pander to him and kiss his ass by congratulating him on bullshit peace deals and so on and so forth. If Keir Starmer does what you're suggesting, Ed Davey, we're probably going to get a 999% tariff slapped on everything, because that's what the Orange Man-child does relentlessly. But Keir Starmer is obviously his little bitch, if you want to put it that way. And yeah, lips in the chat and lip service from Keir Starmer towards Donald Trump. That's the way it's going to go down. No, obviously Keir Starmer isn't going to do that. He's in the precarious position that he's put himself in, of having to pander to Donald Trump despite knowing who and what he is. A felon, a criminal, a fraud. And he's obviously switched from being a critic of his during his first tenure as president now to the complete opposite. Complete upsuckery from Keith.
Can I join him in congratulating Lando for the incredible win? I went down to Woking on Monday to see some of the team at McLaren.
Oh, did you bump into Andrew Mountbatten Windsor while you were there in Woking?
And they're all wearing the pride that brought with them. On the question of Europe and President Trump's comments, what I see is a strong Europe, united behind Ukraine and united behind our long-standing values of freedom and democracy, and I will always stand up for those values and those freedoms.
Ed Davey.
He didn't address the Donald Trump element whatsoever.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't hear about standing up to President Trump.
Oh God, it's terrible. Well, it's low-hanging fruit, I guess, but put myself into direct agreement with Ed Davey here, who's just about to get set up for the zip wire for the next stunt, and for some reason, some large cement mixers are appearing. So I wonder what this next stunt of Ed's is going to be all about.
And if we're going to stand up to President Trump, we do need to strengthen our ties with Europe, not just on defence, but on the economy too. And the truth is, this government will not succeed unless it gets our economy growing strongly again. And the best way to do that is a customs union with Europe. The Prime Minister's chief economic advisor knows it. The Deputy Prime Minister knows it. And yesterday, the Labour chair of the Treasury Select Committee showed she knows it too when she backed our bill. Does the Prime Minister fear that if he keeps opposing a customs union, in 12 months' time, he will not be standing there?
Mr. Speaker, we have got a close relationship.
He can barely get less popular, can he? His braces can't... We've seen, literally, in the last 10 days, I think it was a Find Out Now poll. We're going to take a look at another poll after PMQs. But in the Find Out Now one that I'm referring to, they were dead last. Labour were dead last in the seat projection, that is. Dead effing last.
With the EU through our reset earlier this year. And yes, I do want a closer relationship than the one we've got at the moment. We're moving towards that. We do have manifesto commitments on issues such as single market, customs union and freedom of movement. But I would gently point this out, that having now done significant trade deals with other countries, including the US and India, which are hugely important to the JLR workforce and on pharma, it is not now sensible to unravel what is effectively the best deal with the US that any country has got.
It confused me then, as in pharmaceuticals, in the American sense, pharma, big pharma. I thought, not farmers, as in tractors and sideburns and Wellington boots.
Sir Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Working in NHS, I saw the consequences of Tory underinvestment in our health service. I welcome the progress under this Labour government, falling waiting lists, higher patient satisfaction with the general practice, and the rollout of neighbourhood health centres announced in the budget. I thank the frontline staff, including in mental health and community services, for all their hard work, and I am especially grateful to all the staff at the William Harvey Hospital in Ashford who turned up to work during the last BMA-led resident doctor strike and ensured that so many planned appointments went ahead.
Ashford.
With rising hospital admissions because of flu and increased demand on A&E services, does the Prime Minister agree that the BMA should call off their next planned strike and instead work with the government to find a solution?
You're watching Planted Question of the Week.
Mr. Speaker is right. Waiting lists are falling with over 5 million extra appointments. More people are being seen within 18 weeks.
The Planted Question being well received, obviously, and concerning condemnation of striking workers. And that is the Labour Party in 2025 under Keir Starmer. Did you ever think that that might happen? If you study the history of the Labour Party and its roots, that is something that the founder, this arsehole's namesake, Keir Hardie, would have absolutely detested the sight and sound of. That it's come to this, people.
And we've hired 2,600 new GPs. That's real progress thanks to the hard work of NHS staff, backed by our record investment. I do think the strikes are unjustified and they threaten that hard-won progress, and the focus should always be on patients.
It's Savile Roberts.
Disgrace. What an utter disgrace.
This is dreadful.
God, I sounded like her. Yeah, I've absorbed so much truss in the last 24 hours. It's seeping out. That's why I bought 7 blocks of cheese earlier. Explains a lot. But none of that imported stuff. Disgraceful.
He just said, the Prime Minister, he wanted a closer relationship with Europe, but then referenced the Labour Party manifesto. Wales has been hardest hit by Brexit.
Just got a screen freeze.
Exports are
here,
down.
people. Apologies about that. 1 or 2 minor bugs. I'm on it. Let's see. It might buffer for a second.
Lando, for the incredible
Okay. Is that coming through
our workforce
smooth for you?
Before we got the deal with President Trump. They were worried sick that they were going to lose their jobs, and that would be a loss for them, their families and their communities. I took the call from President Trump when we got the deal in Solihull in JLR, so the first people I could tell were the workforce, who knew very well that that meant their jobs were safeguarded. We've also just done a deal on pharma, which is the first of its kind in the world, and the best forward.
Justine.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, I think we're about here. All running smooth.
Speaker. Of the almost 1 million young people not in education, employment or training, hundreds of thousands are disconnected from the system entirely. Youth workers have a unique ability to bridge young people into support. I wouldn't be stood here today if I hadn't been supported by a youth worker called Russell when I dropped out of school. So will the Prime Minister use the National Youth Strategy?
Yeah, when was that? Are you one of those older-looking young guys, or one of these younger-looking middle-aged guys?
To deliver a shared long-term vision for young people's outcomes, with good work as a central pillar and youth workers and trusted adults at its heart.
Well, I thank him for his question. The party opposite presided over a lost decade for our young people. I'm determined to support every young person to reach their potential. That's why we're delivering the first national youth strategy for 15 years to transform youth services, backed by over £500 million. Mr. Speaker, that means more youth workers, more youth centres and a network of 50 young future hubs. That's on top of our youth job guarantee and our plan to create 50,000 more apprenticeships. We're building Britain for the next generation.
Mr. Speaker, over the coming weeks, millions of people from across the country will be visiting their local church. Churches are the custodians of our history and do enormous good. But in January, the government announced a £19 million cut to the listed places of worship grant, as well as putting a cap on the repair cost. This cut puts thousands of local churches at risk. And I say to the Prime Minister, if we lose our churches, we lose the very soul and essence of our communities. So as we go into Christmas, will the Prime Minister do the right thing? He has 10 at risk in his own constituency. Will he reconsider this policy so that we can save our churches?
Mr. Speaker, we do support our churches and the work that those within our churches do, particularly in the lead up to Christmas, and I've got a reception for them in Downing Street this very afternoon.
Jim Dixon. Thank you.
Yeah, he once endorsed a church that had a programme or some sort of, I don't want to say classes, it's nothing of the sort, because it was electrotherapy, apparently, in order to turn bisexual and homosexual people straight again, I believe is what it was. Or, or to, air quotes, cure transvestism, I believe, is what it was. He didn't realise that it had a reputation for that behaviour, I guess you have to call it.
Mr. Speaker, before May's election, Reform in Kent promised that they would improve services and cut taxes. Instead, vital services to older people and those with a mental health condition provided by great organisations like Imago and Involve is to be cut, and taxes are going up. Would the Prime Minister agree with me on two things?
What a wanker.
Given the additional money for the county through the Fair Funding Review, it's beyond belief that Kent are cutting services that vulnerable people rely on, and that their so-called Doge unit, that we were told would eliminate waste, actually stands for deluded, overconfident, gormless and embarrassing.
Well, it sums up very well how his community have been utterly let down by Reform. Whilst the member for Clacton is making excuses about his behaviour at school, look at what his party are doing across the country. Chaos in Kent. In Hampshire, their mayoral candidate says the Deputy Prime Minister, a black British man born in this country, should go back to the Caribbean. In Staffordshire, Reform's leader has been exposed as a white supremacist. It's not a coincidence.
Jesus, who was that? Was that a sneeze? Or did someone shout shame? Or was something going on in the gallery? No spoilers. Ooh, what could it be?
Says the
Thank goodness there's something happening. There's a shouty moment.
Deputy Prime Minister, a black British man born in this country, should go back to the Caribbean. In Staffordshire, Reform's leader has been exposed as a white supremacist. It's not a coincidence, Mr. Speaker, because chaos and division is a member of Clacton's life work.
Was it? So it was an MP? Let's just hear that again, people. That really was something. I can't believe the Speaker's not intervened. It's probably because he's about as useful as a chocolate fireguard or an ashtray on a motorbike, but there you go.
What his party are doing across the country. Chaos in Kent. In Hampshire, their mayoral candidate says the Deputy Prime Minister, a black British man born in this country, should go back to the Caribbean. In Staffordshire, Reform's leader has been exposed as a white supremacist. It's not a coincidence, Mr. Speaker, because chaos and division is a member of Clacton's life work.
Could have been David Lammy. I can say it's David Lammy. He has to say his title or constituency. But who was that? Who was that? Oh, you think it was a sneeze? I think it was a sneeze. Achoo, or shame. Shame at you, shame on you.
We're a hobos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Bath, parents of children with special educational needs, often very complex needs, are crying out for special school places. Funding to build a brand new special school at that Culver Hayside in Bath was secured, but the government has frozen the funding for almost 18 months without any explanation, leaving many families in the lurch. How much longer do families and children with special educational needs have to wait for this vital new school?
Well, I thank you for raising this, and we are working closely with local authorities on plans for special and alternative provision.
Goes into the lead.
We are keen to progress this. I'll make sure that ministers update her in her particular case. But we are determined to fix the SEND system that fails parents and fails children, and that's why we've launched a national conversation to put families at the heart of the lasting reform. We've already put money into extra new places, a language support and Best Start family hubs being rolled out across every area from April.
So planners turned it around, 2-1 now. Don't say rolling out. Starmer, it makes me think of Matt Hancock. And then I'll have to call the psychiatrist again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Blackburn, West Lothian, St Kentigern's Academy was part demolished due to rack and is being rebuilt, costing £35 million. West Lothian Council found £20 million from its own stretched budget, but despite repeated pleas to the Scottish Cabinet Secretary for Education, who called it the most deserving case, funding has not been delivered. Will the Prime Minister back my call for the Scottish Government to urgently fund the £15 million shortfall and raise it with the First Minister in their next meeting?
Well,
Labour's name is mud in Scotland. Get used to it. Half of the time, they're just bashing the SNP because they're obviously the biggest threat behind this wipeout. About 45 seats, I think they're projected to get at the moment. The SNP, that is. And the next minute it's, oh yeah, we really like Scotland. So they can't make their mind up whether they use a condescending tone or try and appeal to Scottish voters, but they're not listening. They're not listening, Keith.
Can I thank her, because she's fought for her constituents on this issue for years, and meanwhile decades of SNP cuts and broken promises have left schools crumbling. Mr. Speaker, what a contrast.
There you have it.
By the end of this
great oracle hath spake.
Parliament, every school in England will either be rack-free or we will rebuild them entirely. We delivered the largest settlement for the Scottish Government in the history of devolution. So the question for the SNP is, after decades of decline, what is their excuse?
Dr. Luke Evans.
Mr. Speaker, I feel for the Prime Minister. It must be tough wherever he goes in the UK.
Do you? And what does he feel like? It's a cheap shot.
Because of his policies. A pub, higher taxes. A restaurant, higher taxes. A cafe, higher taxes. A farm, higher taxes. A GP, higher taxes. A care home, higher taxes. A hospice, higher taxes. So, Mr. Speaker, is this the reason the Prime Minister chooses to spend so much time out of this country?
What a load of nonsense. Mr. Speaker, we are at a critical stage in progress in Ukraine that will affect Ukraine's sovereignty, the whole of Europe, and the values that we hold dear. We are part of one of the leading countries to strengthen NATO.
Oh, for God's sake, it just happens over and over again. And we'll be here again in a few months because basically everybody else, whether it's in Europe, the United States, whether it's Starmer involved, getting together, having talks with Zelensky, all that aside, sort of the mishmash of that doesn't really matter because you keep coming to the table and Putin, who always feels as though he's in a position of advantage, is never going to give anything away because he thinks that if he carries on the way that he's going, then possibly, potentially, it can take back maybe all of Ukraine or most of Ukraine. I don't know, but he certainly won't concede any territory, primarily, is the main thing. But again, the conversations between Zelensky and Starmer, or the European Union and Zelensky, or Donald Trump, and is he going to act like a total knob end with Zelensky this time? Because basically what's been offered so far is a very Putin-biased deal from what I understand. So then nothing will come of it. They'll go away and come back in 2-3 months' time, and it'll be the same thing over and over again. It's like deja vu.
But a vital time for defence and security in Europe. And we've secured trade deals that they tried for years to achieve, but never did because of our international engagement. And we've got better relations with the EU, all of which is good for our country. Ridiculous question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The video games company Rockstar in my constituency last month fired 31 employees without providing evidence or union representation. The IWGB alleges union busting. Having met Rockstar, they failed to reassure me they are following employment law, and I share.
So Rebecca Long Bailey at the behind this MP, Rebecca Long Bailey of Salford and Swinton.
Are concerns about union busting.
I voted for her in the Labour leadership race, actually, when I was still a member. It was my last action, I guess, prior to taking the scissors to the physical card itself and cancelling my direct debits.
Given this government is responsible for the biggest increase in workers' rights in a generation, does the Prime Minister agree all companies, regardless of profit size, must follow UK employment law, and all workers have the right to join a union?
He hates unions. Did you not just hear him going on about the strikes?
Well, it's a deeply concerning.
The planted question was, do you agree that strikers are dickheads? To which he went, yes, yes. And I'm sure it was music to Sharon Graham's ears as Starmer watches the amount of money he receives from the unions continue to deplete.
Every worker has the right to join a trade union, and we're determined to strengthen workers' rights and ensure they don't face unfair consequences for being part of a union. Ministers will look into the particular case that he raises and keep him updated.
Blake Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Digital ID is intrusive and fundamentally un-British. The government has no mandate for it. No sensible person believes it will tackle illegal immigration.
This question coming from someone who was a very short clone of himself, apparently stood to his left. Unless there's something in this tea. What the fuck? Yeah, that's a proper mini-me situation going on there. Looking up at himself. my son here, Junior. And where did he come from? He's not even in this shot. Hang on, let me look at the... And then what?
Digital ID is intrusive.
Oh, I see. Just saw us. No, he is. You can see there he is.
And fundamentally un-British.
It's because he's behind him. Let's bring your clone to Parliament, Day in the House of Commons.
The government has no mandate for it. No sensible person.
Yes, Father. Absolutely correct.
Believes it will tackle illegal immigration or illegal working. It's an
Yep.
attack on our
Yes,
open
Daddy.
society and a staggering waste of taxpayers' money, isn't it?
Digital ID has huge benefits, as many countries in Europe are already demonstrating. And where they failed on our borders, we're taking control of our borders, and I'm proud that we're doing so.
Jenny Riddle-Carpenter.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister will know that SEND is in crisis across the country, but it's in particular crisis in Suffolk, where the County Council is in special measures for its failings. I'm delighted that the government has listened to one of my asks, which is to have a national conversation about SEND.
I apologise, I didn't listen to absolutely one word of Keir Starmer's response there. I'm just going to have to subject us to that shot.
Legal working. It's an attack on our open society and a staggering waste of taxpayers' money, isn't it?
Digital ID has huge benefits, as many countries in Europe are already demonstrating. And where they failed on our borders, we're taking control of our borders, and I'm proud that we're doing so.
Jenny Riddle-Carpenter.
No scorers.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister will know that SEND is in crisis across the country, but it's in particular crisis in Suffolk, where the County Council is in special measures for its failings. I'm delighted that the government has listened to one of my asks, which is to have a national conversation about SEND, so parents, young people and their advocates can have their voices heard. Will the Prime Minister back...
That's Goulis himself. That is he behind this... Sorry, I don't know this MP's name. Is it Dead Ringer? If not. Or is it that... there's another Dead Ringer who was actually on the Trust show yesterday. A bit of a... It's hard to see, because her right arm is in the way. The left arm as we look at it.
My call...
Can't quite tell.
Make sure that we...
Oh, he's... done us a favour. And is that the guy from yesterday, or is that Goulis? It's hard to tell. They both look so absolutely, utterly stupid. They have resting dumb face. You've heard of resting bitch face. Resting dumb face. I've forgotten his name, the name of the other guy who was on the Liz Truss show yesterday.
Funding for the former Saxmundham Set School in Saxmundham that closed its doors for the last time in 2024.
Can I thank her? I know she's a dedicated campaigner on this issue, and I'll make sure ministers update her on the latest progress in her constituency. Our ambition is to make sure all children with SEND have access to the right support. That's why we're working closely with local authorities.
Good evening to Hedy and Aaron. Join us in the chats as well. Good point. Very good point there as well, coming from JK, concerning Russia. Just very quickly back onto that. Yeah, Russia is still a very divided country, as to whether they want to be independent or still be part of the Federation of Russia. So they could conceivably get to Kharkiv and Odessa in the south with a majority support from the civilian population. I do agree with that point. Feasibly. You could be looking at a split state solution being the only outcome. And the end of Ukraine as it's currently known. But of course, it used to be a whole province of Russia, but on the extreme western border, which has, of course, created this pro-anti-Russia stance, which was, of course, heightened during the Cold War, but we'd be here all night if we were going to go into the ins and outs of Boris Yeltsin's half hour of power.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government is always talking about the fair choices that it has made. But is it a fair choice to balloon the benefits bill? Is it a fair choice to introduce an unfunded and unwanted digital ID that will cost the public billions? And is it a fair choice to increase taxes on working people when the promise was not to? The answer, Mr. Speaker, is no. So can I ask the Prime Minister to consider one final... So can I ask the Prime Minister to give one final fair choice, thinking of food security and to avoid devastation for families across the country and reverse the family farm tax?
Mr. Speaker, welfare ballooned on their watch. When the Shadow Chancellor was responsible for welfare, it ballooned by £33 billion. They left a £22 billion black hole. The OBR reviewed and said they added £16 billion to that. We'll take no lecture from...
Black hole getting a mention, another former contender there. And again, the welfare bashing. No, we look after our citizens less than you do. That's the current argument. Oh, look how much you spent on welfare. Yada, yada, yada. Well, let's compare. Defence, shall we, for example?
...them on the economy.
Final question, Carl Turner.
Final question, last chance for an equaliser from budget.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's no denying that this government inherited a crisis in our criminal courts, with a number of cases waiting to be tried growing every single day. So if the Justice Secretary plan to do away with jury trials in some cases, not all, in some cases, is really about addressing the backlog and getting the position to something manageable, then why isn't there a sunset clause? And why has that been ruled out?
Well, he's absolutely right to draw attention to the crisis in our courts. Yes, he says. Sir Brian Leveson is one of our most respected senior judges. He did an independent report, and he made clear that we risk, in his words, total collapse of the criminal justice system without change. That is what they're chuntering at. That is what they left.
Ooh. Sorry. Skip back a sec.
Report, and he made clear that we risk, in his words, total collapse of the criminal justice system without change. That is what they're chuntering at. That is what they left. A system near total collapse, where victims of sexual violence and rape wait years to get justice. That is not justice, that is victims failed. I can reassure him, and I know he feels very strongly on this, that juries will remain a cornerstone of our justice system for the most serious cases.
Mr Robertson, I don't want shouting like that again. Do we understand each other?
Oh.
Right.
Particularly serious this week. That completes Prime Minister's questions, and it's a 2-1 victory for League Debutante's plan. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, dear thems and comrades alike, what do you think about that? Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching back later on. That was this week's Prime Minister's Questions.
We now come to Prime Minister's Questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole.
Plan for change.
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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, we're back. Sorry, the bufferation and bufferage there, people. Bit glitchy, bit glitchy. Worth the patience though, hope you'd all agree. I certainly think you'd all agree that that was a terrible PMQ's session, with Keith's catchphrases aside, of course. It's a quality feature. The bufferagettes, very good Libyology. We like a good pun here on the Brews at 10, whether it's tea-based, hot beverage-based or otherwise. Kind of standard, apart from, as I said towards the end there, Lindsay Hoyle being a lot less jokey and a bit more strict in his responses, in his reactions to any misdemeanours, as he might see them. Because, let's be honest, the jokes normally don't land very well, specifically with the delivery and the timing. This is a man with sponges for lips, a flannel for a tongue, who speaks at the same time as consuming a watermelon. So, other than that, like I said, pretty procedural. But I'll just have a quick look. Just myself, I won't put it on screen. Yeah, that means obviously Postman Swat will stay in the #1 spot during the recess. And yeah, the back pages will be all over that one tomorrow. With a 2-1 stunner. I'm going to take a quick look at a poll in a moment, people. Let's see what the current public favour or lack of is with the government or other parties. I did mention I've seen one recently that had Labour in last place. That's in terms of seats. Incredible. This one isn't great for them, but perhaps not that bad. It's YouGov poll, and I do have that bookmarked, so I shall just summon it for you now. It's poll time, Libby, yeah. And another shout out to Stats for Lefties who have shared this poll. Of course, a great source of compiling polls and revealing polls. And it's run by Marxists. Whether that encourages you or puts you off, just thought I'd throw it. It's on their bio. That's no massive reveal. But we will now reveal the poll? I guess I'll just start there then. Scroll down. I'll have to line this up, I think. Should be back. Oh god, it's all just freaking bufferage. Oh,
oh god!
But we are back.
Can you dig it?
Let's just find the poll. There we are. So Labour staying exactly where they are on 19%, but Reform edging a little bit, 1% ahead. Tories down 1, Greens actually down 1, 15%. Lib Dem staying where they are, so no major changes from the last YouGov poll, but that does put Labour in 3rd place. Quite considerably behind Lib Dem in 2nd, it has to be said. Now in this poll it has the Greens on 49 seats, but on the Find Out Now poll, which I mentioned a short time ago, it had them in the 70s, I think, the mid 70s in terms of seats. So quite a bit of range coming in here. Just back to the top though, this one has Reform gaining 314 seats. We've seen that as extreme as 400 in the past, I believe. So again, quite a bit of range. But one thing's for certain, they've been the top of every poll. Labour have been 3rd or worse, losing 346 seats in this case, leaving them with just 65. Not great. Like I mentioned during PMQs, SNP retaking Scotland, go Scotland, up Scotland. Shout out to all of our viewers north of the border. But as you can see, Lib Dem taking looks like 4 or 5 of the constituencies there as well. One very notable thing though, complete lack of Labour north of the border, with just a few pockets remaining. And they do look set to suffer inside cities, which is obviously a previous stronghold for Labour, going way back to the origins of the unions and stuff. I was going to talk a little bit more about unions, strikes, the minimum wage as well on tonight's stream, but we're kind of running out of time. I was going to perhaps have a bit of a historic look back as well. I did have to postpone this on yesterday's stream as well. Just back to this though quickly. Tories taking a drubbing, losing another 85 seats, right down on 36. Independents gaining 16, which puts them up 1 actually, I believe. The last time we took a look, I think they're on 15. Played more or less staying on 7, and I think it was that way on the Find Out Now poll. So let me know what you think about this survey, which was, like I said, YouGov from polling between the 7th and 8th of December. This year, of course. Shout out again to Stats for Lefties for providing us the results of the YouGov poll. Oh. Quick reset on the music. No, I was going to say time for a shout out to all the members on the channel once again. Yeah, thanks a lot for the gifted memberships on tonight's stream as well. So now on 110 you can join this list of incredible people, some of whom are watching live as well. Shout out to all the members on the channel. Super Chats is open, as well as Super Thanks if you watch back later on. Don't forget there's a Buy Me a Coffee page. The link for that is in the description of the stream. Just double and triple check that you've all hit thumbs up here as well. That's another great way to support the channel. And give us a follow on social media at MyLeftEyeUK on Blue Sky, Mastodon and Twitter. The app currently known as Twitter. Well, it is around here anyway, people. So please do stay where you are. We're coming towards the end of the stream here, but I'm looking for a raid as we speak. And we'll see if we have any fellow socialists live, so let's show some solidarity and prop up the stream. Just waiting for this to load as well. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Thanks for all your contributions in the chat. Just a reminder, that was the final PMQ session before recess, so back in early 2026. And we'll be going into this space again, because it's either that or Al Jazeera, but that's not really a proper raid, is it? Going into a 24-hour rolling news feed. So when we get over there, give us a shout out, hit thumbs up, subscribe to this space if you don't already. Our friends from across the Atlantic. Speaking of friends here, friends of the channel, mega shout out to Graham. Thanks again, once again, for that super chat. Viva Viva Palestina, of course, Solidari-Tea. I'll just show some appreciation for that, as I encourage all of you viewers to do so as well. Great way to finish off the stream. Awesome stuff. Thanks again, Graham. Davinia, Katie Marshall didn't come up on the list. I think that's been suggested before, and I think I tried to. However, she needs to allow My Left Eye to raid in. I think that was the status last time. So until she actually, if she is streaming at the moment. So until that happens, unfortunately it's not going to come up. You can only select that one if the streamer does that. Anyway, ending on a technical point as well. Oh, you raided in from No Justice the other day, so maybe she isn't live. Well, I guess that answers that. But from me, your humble host Lefty, that will be everything. Thanks for watching the Brews at 10 this evening on My Left Eye. Free Palestine, Free Lebanon, Free Sudan, and Yemen, power to the people. Take care, we'll be seeing you soon. Good night.
Drive to my second home at Christmas. It's nice to have two places. Though I didn't pay stamp duty or tax on favour and graces. Whoa, whoa!